I'm going to start off by going to the PowerPack connection vault. I'll left click on that. And we'll come down the categories along the side until we see platform cover. And we're going to left click on the Gratings plates border. As mentioned here, this works on gratings and or plates. Left click on that, choose the object in question, right click, and you'll see you get plates come in around that particular object. So it creates a border around the edges. And if you have any inner contours that are open, you can create a border around those edges as well. We have an area here, a little bit about the tool. When we come to general, we can select plate, profile, or none. We can't have none for both at the same time. So we have the option here for plate or profile. You'll see profile changes it to an actual shape. We can come to outside, and here we get to choose what the shape is. Left click on this and choose the catalog you want and the size. So we can come in, for example, and let's say I come down to, we'll take 1/8 by 3. And now we have a very thin profile, 3 inches high. Come back, we'll set that to plate. You'll see it readjusts back to plate. We'll go to contour geometry. In here, it's grayed out. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. Under outside now, you'll notice that the option to choose your profile has disappeared. It's set up now so that you can define the plates. So under general, whichever one you select will be controlled from here, and the options here will switch to match your selection there. In here, you have the option to offset left or right each of the edges. You can do all, or you can uncheck that and select a particular edge that you want to do. You can see it changes color as you go. You have the option to remove an edge. So if I wanted that back edge gone, I could say remove. You can see it's gone. If I come in here and say I want to do a vertical offset here, I'll do 1 inch. That's the thickness of the step. And I'm going to set my thickness here to 1/8 and the width to 3 inches. So it'll match that plate that we selected before, and you can see that's coming in. It's different from the others. I can also say same for all. So with these settings visible, same for all, you'll notice they all adjust and match the one that I'm currently working on. I can do the horizontal offset here. I'll do -1/8, which is the thickness of the plate. And by doing that, you can see now it becomes flush with the edge of that step. And I've got this pan plate type step created where I have the edges all the way around created from here. So very quickly I can put plates on all the way around the contour of an object. I have also in here the ability to do corner geometry. So if I need to, I can say all corners identical, or I can come in and individually adjust them. I want them to be mitered, or I can say overlapping. And if I look at it now, let me just zoom in a little bit. You'll see that they overlap. I can say none. They line up. And again, I can say miter, and they'll miter in the corner. Okay. If I say none, on the outside here, same for all, I can then do, for example, 8 inches. And you can see it's creating an 8-inch gap on all the different sides here. So it pulls the plate in, but I'm doing same for all by this distance. You need to remove the miter first, or this will not work. Okay. So if I put the miter back, the corners are mitered. When I come into here, if I put a value, nothing happens. Under inside, we have very similar values to what we had for the outside, but this would be for inner contours. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Same thing with the corner geometry. And we have the welds. What size weld do you want to use? What type of weld do you want to use? And is it shop or site? Now I'm going to close this. And move over here. We'll take a look at the plate I have here. It has some inner contours. I'll come and add the grading and plates to this. Right click. And you can see I've got now the same thing as before. I get those outer contours, which I can then define as plate or profile. I'll leave this as plate. We'll do the inner contours as profile. You can take a look at it that way. You'll notice that they don't have to be the same. Contour geometry now, because I have inner contours, I can come in, I can say follow the contour or not. And I can come in and adjust as needed which one I want to work on. You'll notice that the opening changes color, so that's very easy to see which contour it is that you're actually affecting. We have all our settings for outside that we saw before. And we'll take a look at the inside this time. So we have our contour for the inside. Again, which one are we working on? You'll see they change color. So you know which one it is that you're affecting. And since I put them as a contour, I can come in and pick what it is that I want to use. Half, I'll do here 1/8. You can see creates that plate there for me. I also have the option for same for all. So on this contour here, if I want to remove an edge, I can just come in, remove the same for all, pick the edge, and remove that edge. I can then change contours. Again, I'm just going to change this to something a little different. 1/8 of an inch. There we go. And you can see it's creating that contour around the circle. Now, you don't want to remove edge here because it's a circle. It'll just remove the entire thing. You have your continuous options, left, right, offset. You have your vertical offset in here. You can come in, you can adjust it whatever distance you want. You have your left and right offsets. Again, keep in mind that if the edge is missing, then you may not be able to move it up. So you want to make sure that you have the proper edge, or you're selecting same for all, or that whatever the case may be, which one you want to modify, then you can adjust it accordingly. So if you need to make an adjustment, you have that option. And you can make the adjustment to those edges. Your corner geometry, same as before. What are the corners? And remember, miter, if you need to offset the shapes left or right, you need to remove the miter. And then your offsets left or right will come into play. And I've moved them apart 2 inches, so I would need to extend them 1 inch on each side, or minus 1 inch. To line them up again. The miter cut took care of that automatically, but you have the option to adjust it here manually if need be. And the welds. In here now with the welds, again, you have what type of welds are being used, what are the size, and what are their location. And that is the gratings plates border found in the PowerPack connection weld.